I would share with you this video. In a recent haul, I was talking about this booklet that I picked up from the reject shop, and what I was concerned about was, I guess, how the paper would hold up to some of the supplies that I use regularly and would be keen to use within this book. So I thought it would be a good idea, before I go ahead and start, putting information in there that I then don't want to rip out, is to have a go at using some of the common supplies that I have, and then seeing how that works on the pages. It will do one of two things. It will help me to decide which supplies are best to use with this booklet, and how much I'm able to use each of these different pens and textures and things in the booklet, and how it's going to affect the pages before I go ahead and put anything important in there. So what I've got is I've just pulled out a few sort of common things that I use on a regular basis, and I'm just going to go through and use each of them, and then from there we'll see how they sort of look on the page and whether they bleed through and all of that sort of stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do, just so that it dries with plenty of time, is I'm going to do some watercolour painting on there. So this is a really good value for money set of watercolours that I picked up from Big W. I think they're about $15, and you can see there's loads and loads of colours and different shades in there, and it also has this little like on the lid, it's like a little palette that you can use as well, so you can mix your own colours. Yeah, and that's what I've done with that sort of teal sort of colour there, is I mixed up my own colour. So let's go with, I might actually try and just use the last of this, which is what I've done recently, just to kind of get that out of there. And I mean, it doesn't really matter too much, there's plenty to be able to mix with, but yeah, let's see how that goes. So and what I'm going to do is do some scripting with it. And this is a really nice watercolour to use for something that's so cheap. I'm not great at watercolouring or scripting with watercolour. I've watched a lot of Amy Tan's videos, and always amazed at how easy it is for her to do it. But she says it takes practice, so I'm not giving up. I'm just going to keep trying. And I try the technique of going heavier on the up and lighter on the down, but it doesn't always work for me. So you can see there that's the watercolour. I can see there's a little bit of warping happening already, but what I'm going to do, just so that I get an idea of how much you can put on before you get that warping effect, is I might pick a colour I haven't used yet. I really tend to use the blues and greens and things like that. I'm just going to get this quite wet, this orange, and then I'm going to just paint, so you can see how much can the paper actually take. So what I'm going to do now is set that aside to dry. And the other thing I will say about these watercolours is they do come in a smaller set, so if you didn't want to have that many colours and you're happy to mix and create your own, you could actually purchase a smaller set. But I thought that for $15, we've got loads and loads of colours there, that's trying to do the maths for you, is 36 different colours there. So yeah, fantastic buy if you're looking for a cheap set of watercolours. And then I just had some paintbrushes that I had already used. Okay, so I'm also going to test out just a highlighter. So I think we'll just, because generally this is how I use them, just going to do some highlighting there. And then a gel pen, because gel pens are one of the mainstay products. So I'm just going to do a little love heart there and colour it in. And what I'm trying to do is use the products on the pages the way that I would use them in any of my art journals, or so it will give me an idea of, if I was going to use this product the way I would normally use it, how is it going to come out on those pages. And you could try lots of different colours if you wanted to. I've just picked one of everything that I might use, and tried to pick things that I use either A, regularly, or in the colours that I would normally use them in, etc. So this one is the like the art line sort of style of pen, so I tend to write hello when I'm testing anything, when I go into the shops and I'm testing pens and things. Let's try something different. So this is the alcohol marker from Kazaz, and I've chosen a darker colour so that I can see exactly how that comes through on the page. So rather than hello, alright, happy days. And so it's just testing the different sort of styles of the lettering and stuff as well, so getting a feel for how it writes on the page. Times. And so this is a distress marker. Sorry, the last one was a Sharpie. This is a distress marker, so if you haven't seen them before, there's like a fine tip on one end and then there's a brush tip on the other end. So I'm probably going to use both of those and see how that goes. So that one was a bit rough across the page. Everything else has been really smooth, but that was the fine end of the distress marker, and it just kind of seemed to get a little bit stuck, and that's what I was talking about with the smoothness of this page. It does feel quite rough, and so we'll go to the brush tip now and we'll do the same. That one does sort of go across the page a lot smoother. Just try that again. Yeah, so it glides across the page a lot smoother, and I found that with the art line sort of style pen and this fine tip that it didn't work as smoothly across the page. So when I'm journaling things and writing things, I may find that a gel pen is a better option, or yeah, something with a bit more of a thicker sort of tip to it might work better than the thin one. So the true test is when we turn it over, you can see there is no bleed through with the actual watercolours, which is great. The highlighter's not coming through. We do get a little bit coming through with the alcohol marker, which is just sort of be expected because they tend to come through pages anyway, and also with the Sharpie. But nothing with the distress marker, which is similar sort of looking script, you know, or looking medium to the Sharpie, so, and the alcohol marker for that matter. So if I was going to use those sort of things on these pages, I'd probably go with the distress markers as much as possible. And you can see that fine liner actually comes through a little bit as well. So not too bad. I think, you know, that I will probably rip that page out eventually, but nothing coming through with the gel pen either. So you could potentially, instead of using a fine liner, is to use a gel pen instead. So that's my, I guess, review of the paper in this little booklet. For $4, there's loads and loads of paper in there. So yeah, you could definitely, you know, have a go at using your supplies and see how they go, and then rip that front page out. But overall, I think it worked actually surprisingly well. So, and because I mentioned in this last video, but just in case you didn't watch it, because there's so much space in the ring binder, you can actually add new pages and different pages and journaling cards and things like that. Plus it has the pocket at the front, and the other thing I liked about it was that it had a magnetic clip, so if you just kind of fold it over, it'll stick down like so. I don't like the front cover, so I will be changing this side of it and keeping that purple fabric strip. If they had it in other colours, I probably would have picked up another colour, but yeah, I quite like the aqua teal inside, so yeah, happy with the overall. So yeah, if you are looking for something inexpensive to do some journaling in, I would definitely suggest this one. The paper didn't warp too much, that's probably the other thing to say. It is a little bit warped at the moment, so it could probably take some mixed media, but I was quite generous with that water. There was no warping on this side, but definitely with this sort of, you know, heavy application, there is a little bit of warping there. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this, and thanks for watching.